Hi, angels. I hope you're doing good today. We're going to get ready to talk about Billie Holiday, one of Angelina Jordan's greatest influences. But before we get started, do me a favor. Just hit the subscribe button, and if you have time, watch another video after this one finishes. And I've made a playlist for you, so make sure to check that out after the video. This time, angels, we're going to have to dig a little deeper into this. Billie Holiday is a complex singer, and at first, it doesn't appear that Angelina would have anything other than her singing to admire this lady for. But let's keep the judgments to the end, and let me know if your opinion about Billie Holiday, whether good or bad, has changed. Angelina was 4 when she first heard Billie Holiday's voice. She saw her video on YouTube. She was captivated by her unique and emotional style of singing. She said that Billie Holiday's voice sounded like an angel. Is that where the term angel came from? If you know for sure, leave it out in the comments for us to look at. Okay, I have to admit, angels, this video was a little bit tough. At least I thought it was going to be that way in the beginning, because I had a hard time figuring out how this would be a positive video, especially a character that had a very tough and traumatic life. But this all changed as I got into it, and I think your opinion will change also. Now, angels, Angelina had a very nice childhood, as we all talk about or admire. But Billie Holiday had anything further from a good childhood. She had a rather difficult one, with a young mother and a father that left her when she was born. Her mother and her had to enter a brothel to make ends meet. Billie Holiday was very young when she entered the brothel with her mother. They stayed there for a couple of years. They were also arrested a couple of times. Her only escape was music, and during that time she found inspiration in the singer Bessie Smith and Louis Armstrong. She began singing when she was a teenager. Billie Holiday was also raped at a young age by a relative. She also was passed around from relative to relative and did not have a stable childhood at all. She went to school, but only until 5th grade when she dropped out. She also went a couple of times to truancy school. So, Angel, she had her first hit at age 18. It was a song with Benny Goodman and was called Riffin the Scotch, and she was an instant hit. During her time as a singer, Billie Holiday faced poverty, racism, abuse, and addiction, but she never gave up on her passion for music. She became one of the most influential jazz singers of all time, with songs like Strange Fruit, God Bless the Child, and Lady Sings the Blues. Okay, let's go back to Angelina Jordan, our barefoot princess. I'm sure Angelina wanted to honor Billie Holiday's legacy by singing her songs with respect and admiration. Perhaps she felt that Billie Holiday was watching over her and guiding her through her music. She decided to audition for Norway's Got Talent in 2014 and sang a couple of Billie Holiday's most famous songs. Gloomy Sunday is one of the songs that Angelina sang so perfectly. In case you don't know, Gloomy Sunday really is a sad song, as Angelina told the audience. She didn't explain it, but she didn't have to. But the song was actually written by a Hungarian composer, Rezo Seres, and later translated into English by Sam Lewis. Again, it's a sad song about suicide and despair. No one can forget the little girl in Norway's Got Talent. The first time she was on the stage with her white dress and her bare feet, and a confidence that everyone noticed. Of course, she sang Billie Holiday then. and she actually sang 3 songs that Billie Holiday was known for, in addition to Nancy Sinatra's song Bang Bang. Angelina went on to sing a second Billie Holiday song, I'm a Fool for You, and did that a cappella, and really amazed everyone. She went on further in the competition to do another song, Summertime, which is a classic jazz standard written by George Gershwin for the opera Porgy and Bess. She sang it in the style of Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong. Did Angelina realize that that version was Billie Holiday's favorite version of the song? Well, I'm sure she did. Knowing Angelina, she understood perfectly that that was Billie Holiday's favorite version, and that's why she probably did it. Let's go back and talk about Billie Holiday for a little bit again. Billie Holiday was married 4 times, but didn't have a successful marriage. She had no kids, and was also used and abused during most of these marriages. She continued to make music, but it was very difficult for her time. She used her music as a way to rebel against oppression. She was known to be a drug user, a heavy heroin user. There actually was a time when a government undercover agent was assigned to investigate her. He went undercover and ended up falling in love with her and providing evidence against her still. Just another hard time or hard knock for Billie Holiday. Billie Holiday was arrested a couple times and spent some time in jail for drugs. She was always being watched and investigated, or maybe another term for it would be harassed. But she continued to have close relationships with a small group of people around her. Some had been friends with her since childhood. She was very close to her godson and goddaughter. Billie Holiday used her voice to fight oppression, and particularly in the South, with the song Strange Fruit. The song was not written by her, but she changed it in a way that made it very effective at fighting or protesting racism at the time. Let's get into a little bit about her fashion. As mentioned, she used fashion as an act of defiance as she challenged many thoughts of the time. She refused to conform to the norms of modesty and respectability that were dictated by a white society and instead expressed herself with confidence and flair. She also used fashion to make other political statements, such as wearing a white gardenia to protest against lynching in her hair, or wearing the Star of David necklace to honor her Jewish manager who was killed by the Nazis. Billie Holiday influenced fashion with her glamorous and elegant style, which reflected her personality and her resistance to oppression. She wore stunning gowns, fur coats, feather boas, and jewelry on stage, and, as I mentioned, always wore gardenia in her hair. She experimented with different hairstyles, such as ponytails, head wraps, and turbans, which demonstrated her versatility. Well, this is where we're going to end the Billie Holiday story. There's a lot more I could say about Billie Holiday, but it would make this video very long. I hope you see that despite her disadvantage of her tragic childhood and adulthood, that Billie Holiday, in spite of that, became a strong leader. And although there were so many problems in her personal life, she still had strong relationships with people. And she also remained very determined to support her causes. And she did it in a way that was sort of just her, not just getting together with a band of people. She was very defiant. And for that reason, I say that she's a very strong woman that Angelina could look up to. I think this may have also made Angelina very appreciative of her family life and her background. And this is something that we appreciate about Angelina and her family, the fact that she is protected and she does have a nice childhood. Even though she is very young, I think that Angelina is not blind to the injustices that some suffer, and she knows that many child have hard lives, and that's probably why she's very into supporting children charities even at a young age.